Hey everybody, Jerez, Jesse Montaño here for Postgame. After the Avalanche beat the Columbus Bluejackets 6-1, absolutely beat the snot out of them, Jesse. In a game that kind of had a little bit of a slow start for Colorado. They even gave up the first goal, something we alluded to on our podcast today. Check it out if you haven't. But then they shut it down, both from a defensive standpoint and then the offensive kind of kicked in.
Yeah, we said a couple different things this morning. The slow starts, right? And then we also talked about, like, this is a Columbus team that this team really, the Avs really should beat. In that podcast, we had Evan Rowell from Colorado Hockey Now on. We talked about the fact that, hey, look, Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado all came into the night tied in standings. Dallas and Colorado both playing games. The other two teams had taken care of business against teams like the Ducks and the Sharks. This was a team the Avs needed to beat. Like you said, weird kind of start. And the start of that second period, it was just all Avs, never felt in question.
Yeah, a couple guys tallying some goals there, but it took a while for Nathan McKinnon to really get involved from a scoring standpoint, right? For a second, we thought his home scoring streak would be in jeopardy. Alas, it was not. 33 games continues. He adds a goal and an assist tonight.
Yeah, and it was funny because after that first goal came, the assist came like 2 shifts later. But look, like we were just talking about a little bit here in the media room, Nathan McKinnon is not a guy to talk about individual accolades, awards, anything like that. He wants to win games and win Stanley Cups. That's what his concern is. You know, over the years, there's been several times we've talked to him about, hey, he set a new career high in goals tonight. Hey, you broke 100 points. Hey, you did this. Hey, you did that. And he just never really seems to care. You're at the point now, you're 33 games in, you're 7 shy of tying the record, and you're 8 games away from being the only player ever in NHL history to have a point in 41 consecutive home games to start the season. You know he has to be thinking about it a little bit. It looked like maybe he was gripping the stick a little bit tight, and then gets the goal to go, and just his game really loosened up. Like I said, I don't think this has been something that's been on his radar, but you're close enough now. It means something to the team. It means something to him. It was nice to see them be able to help him cash in on that in a night that was already going really well.
Yeah, interesting to hear how much the teammates are really involved in this point streak of Nathan McKinnon's, right? And how they're really invested as well. As far as the rest of the game, I think goaltending didn't have too much action, did its job. Special teams didn't have too much action. I guess it did its job as well for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just felt like starting at the puck drop of the second period, the ice just tilted towards Columbus's net. And, I mean, like you said, I can't think of anything on the Avs side that it was like, oh, you didn't love that. You got to clean that up. You know, obviously, over the course of a 60-minute game, there's always going to be things you can nitpick. But for the sake of what we're doing, we're not running a video session here, right? It was as good of a last 40 as you can have if you're the Avs against a team like that you need to take care of business against.
Yep. Pittsburgh next. I guess what do they take out of this game, transfer it over to Pittsburgh, and just keep this train rolling?
You know, I think it was a little bit of what Zach Parise talked to us about, of just making sure that all 4 lines are finding a way to be impactful. It doesn't mean you have to score a goal. It doesn't mean you have to draw penalties. Find ways to be impactful. Be strong along the wall on your own end. Defend the middle of the ice well. Whatever it is that you want to say, our line is doing this well. Just continue to have a way to make sure that all 4 lines get involved. The one last thing, Jared Bednar talked a little bit about it, but we did see the blending of the lines. Exactly what we talked about on the pod this morning. Suddenly Mikko Rantanen skating with Casey Middlestat and Val Nichushkin, and then there was a little bit of winger flip-flopping on that. I think that's something else that Jared Bednar and the coaching staff can take out of this game is, we maybe found some other combinations that work. Casey Middlestat and Mikko Rantanen connect for a goal. That's another thing that I think you have to feel good about taking out of this game is we got some combinations we maybe didn't have a week ago.
Yeah, even in a game like this where, the Avalanche are kind of in control and winning, Jared Bednar is still not satisfied, still looking for answers and still making sure that he's getting his team prepared for the playoff run that they're looking to go on here.
Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right. And it's just, he told us before the All-Star break, we're going to start nitpicking and we're going to really dial in the details. I think that's what you're seeing here. And I think actually tonight was a really good example of that, of like, hey, all right, let's go. He said he didn't mind the way they were skating in the first, sure. But like, we got to step on this. We're in a different class in this team and we got to treat them that way, with all due respect to the Columbus Bluejackets. But yeah, I'm with you. I just felt like this was another step towards gearing up for the postseason.
Yep. So the Avalanche remain undefeated since the trade deadline and have quite the win streak going. So we'll see how they continue this homestand. Sunday, at noon. So we won't have a morning skate report, no morning skate interviews for you. But, of course, probably practice tomorrow. Guerilla Sports will be there for you guys. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Avalanche 6-1. We'll see you back here at Ball Arena for the Pittsburgh Penguins.